Hello, everyone, and welcome. We're so glad to see you here today. I'm Cynthia Boyd, and I am Division Director for Geriatric Medicine and Gerontology at Johns Hopkins, and I co-lead the pilot core for the Hopkins Economics of Alzheimer's Disease and Services, or HEAD Center, with Dr. Alden Gross, along with Dr. Frank Zhu. And the three of us are really glad to be here today to have this webinar to introduce you to our 2026-2027 Pilot Award application cycle. And just a reminder to everyone that this work is supported by the National Institute on Aging. We're really delighted to have been renewed for another 5 years and to be kicking off this coming year's pilot cycle. And I will turn things over to my colleague, Alden Gross.
Hi, everybody. Nice to meet you. I'm faculty in the Department of Epidemiology at Johns Hopkins. I'm going to run through some of the introduction to the program. Our HEADS pilot core, our mission is to provide funding, interdisciplinary research mentorship, and regulatory monitoring of novel pilot studies that can advance research within our Head Center themes, develop the careers of researchers who are addressing these themes, and attract new investigators to the field of AD/ADRD research. We invite applications for pilot grants that are related to our HEADS themes, as I mentioned. Those themes are, number one, identifying and quantifying the range of ADRD care needs and related economic consequences, and also examining how the organization and financing of services and technology affect accessibility, affordability, and quality of ADRD care. We have some cross-cutting areas of emphasis. Traditionally, we've placed a lot of interest on family and unpaid caregiving, on reducing ADRD consequences in high-burden populations as well. We expect, in terms of details of these pilot awards, we expect to competitively award pilot grants of up to $35,000 per award. You don't need to, apply for, 35 to make sure your application is for $35,000. Less is just as fine. We're particularly interested in supporting promising postdoctoral fellows and junior faculty, although applicants can be of any rank. We especially encourage applicants who are early stage investigators, defined as being within 10 years of your terminal degree, and as well as new investigators who have not received a K or R grant yet, as well as those who are new to ADRD research. Some key dates. So it's December 1st right now. We've got an optional letters of intent that are due February 2nd of 2026. And after your letter of intent, proposals are due by March 13th, 2026. I want to say that's a Friday. By early May, awards are going to be announced. We need a couple months to organize ourselves and to review all of the wonderful applications and to make decisions. And then if we announce awards by early May 2026, funding would begin for awardees in September of 2026, we anticipate. In terms of pilot proposal guidelines and processes, studies should use and advance methods in economics and health services research. Research should inform efforts to improve the care of persons with ADRD and/or mitigate the economic burden of ADRD. And that can be to families, to the system, mitigating economic burden can come in lots of forms and ways. In terms of duration, proposals should describe ideas that can feasibly be completed in 1 year We do allow potentially for extensions of an additional year, but that would take an additional review at the end of the given year. And in terms of funds available, again, the total award could be up to $35,000, and this is directs plus indirects. Cynthia, do you want to talk about letters of intent?
Sure. Thank you, Alden. So we do have a process of letters of intent. These will be due on February 2nd, 2026. So you've definitely got time. These are optional, but we really strongly encourage people to do this because it basically gives us the information we need to make sure we recruit appropriate reviewer expertise. So I would think about this as an opportunity to make sure that we know enough about what you want to do, that we've got the right reviewers lined up to give your proposal the best scientific review with needed expertise. These are pretty short, a half page in length with a half page margins and 11 point and Arial font. It's not binding, so you can submit a letter of intent and then change your mind and not apply, although obviously we hope that doesn't happen. We want you to apply. And we're so glad to see so many of you here today. And you can change your study design after submission. So it's not like when we review your science, we're not going back to the letter of intent and making sure that the methods match, the study design matches perfectly. It really is just to give us a sense of what kinds of things people are doing and so that we can plan our review. Next slide. So then for the proposal itself, there will be a cover page, which is one page, and then there will be 2 pages that follow with the following sections: study aims, significance, innovation, approach, and future aims. And so what do we mean by future aims? I think a key part of this pilot is that it really is meant to directly lead to future work that you want to do. And so we want to hear a little bit about how the pilot you're going to propose is going to be directly influential and a necessary step in order to get to the bigger sort of set of aims or project that you have in mind. There are some required supplemental documents which are listed on the RFA, and happy to answer questions about them. And then there is a budget form that you will need to fill out. And this is all due on March 13th, 2026. So you have a good bit of time between the letter of intent, which is optional, and then the submission. Next slide. So who is eligible? So the institutions are colleges, universities, medical or nursing schools, or other fiscally responsible organizations. If people have specific questions, you can put that in the Q&A. I think you can also message us in the chat if you want to ask us something privately. And at the end, we will have an email address where you can send specific questions if you're trying to figure out if your institution is eligible. Next slide. So for the principal investigator who is eligible, you must hold a doctorate degree, which could be an MD, it could be a PhD, it could be a PharmD, or it could be equivalent. So we know that in different places around the world, people have slightly different degrees. I think the key piece is that it be the equivalent of a doctorate degree. Again, and if you have specific questions, please reach out to us. You must hold a faculty, research scientist, postdoctoral fellow, or an equivalent position by the start date of the award. So that would mean that by next summer, you would need to have a position that is the equivalent of one of these in order to be eligible. Applicants who are early stage investigators which is determined by the NIH and which is a certain number of years since your terminal degree, or new investigators who have not yet received a major R award or a K award, and those who are new to ADRD research are encouraged to apply. I think this is a key piece in that we really are trying to grow the field, and we have specific programming that is designed to support um, uh, early stage or new investigator people in particular, in helping people transition to a future grant applications after the pilot. We are very interested in interdisciplinary research teams, and so encourage people to think about that as applicable. The head's leadership is very interdisciplinary in itself, and so that is definitely something we encourage you to think about. Next slide. So mentors. So this is only required for PIs who are postdoctoral fellows or who, both now and who will be a postdoctoral fellow at the time of the award. But these are optional for everyone else. That said, you heard that we are really interested in early stage people. And so we would encourage you, if you are junior faculty or a new research scientist, to tell us about your mentor if you have one, and if you have a mentor, include their NIH style biosketch, and provide their name or email. I think a key piece is that, and we've all been through this, right? But the process of research is one that has I think a long arc of development and mentorship and learning from others. And so while it's not required for anyone other than postdocs, if you think you fall in that junior bucket, we would definitely encourage you to think about including a mentor as formally as part of your proposal. That does not mean that they have to use part of the budget, to be clear. It's really about their involvement and their commitment to developing you in your research career. Next slide. So Alden, I believe this is still me, but any point in time, please join in. So something new for this head cycle is our Emerging Scholars Program, or EMSP. So pilot awardees who are awarded may be eligible to participate in our new program. We may award pilot awardees to people who are not eligible, who are further along, if there's a new method or they're new to ADRD research. But clearly, we are very interested in trying to grow the field, and this program provides additional mentoring support, peer mentoring, community building opportunities, grant preparation activities like a mock study section for the sort of the next grant that you're going to write based on your pilot project. And then in addition, through the national network, there is access to resource and additional opportunities from the NIA Demography and Economic Coordinating Center, or NIA DEC. And basically, this is the national coordinating center for all of the centers like ours across the country. There's a coordinating center that is providing specific activities for emerging scholars. Next slide.
And I just want to point out here, thank you, Cynthia. So this EMSP program is going to be new for all of us. This Emerging Scholars Program goes beyond the project you proposed, and it does last for at least 2 or more years. We're committing to mentor you and support you up to getting your first R or K.
Thank you, Alden. We've put the link in the chat, so you should be able to see it, but you can sign up for office hours if you are interested in meeting one-on-one with our pilot core faculty. And we know you can't click the link in the slide, but it is in the chat if you'd like to do that. And you would fill in your name and your email, and we'll send you a Zoom link 24 hours prior to the office hours appointment. Office hours are limited to one 15-minute appointment per applicant. I think there are about four of the faculty that are heads of leadership that have signed up. So you'll choose just one to meet with. But I do think that we all have a good sense of all of the other aspects of the head center. And this is just so that we can, maximize the opportunity and give everybody a chance to meet with at least to meet with one of us. Next slide. And now I'm going to turn things over to Frank, who is going to share a little bit more.
Yeah, thanks, Cynthia. So I'm just going to briefly go over the data resources that will be available to our Head Center pilot projects. So first, we at Head Center, we have a data enclave that houses CMS, Medicare, and Medicaid claims data. Medicare include both traditional fee-for-service Medicare claims data and Medicare Advantage, and we have the Medicaid TAP data. And these data are accessible, are available free of charge for our HEDS pilot awardees. And we have a link of the data inventory here. But the most recent data inventory, we have traditional Medicare and MA data through 2022, and we have Medicaid data for 2021, and we are also in the process of purchasing a few more years of Medicaid data. And a second on this, CMS claims link HRS data. This is through linkage, and we have data use agreement set up for HEDS research projects. And as you know, there's other CMS other data products that are available through linkage free of charge. And we can also have the expertise in obtaining data use agreement for those data resources, and we can assist you in establishing a DUA for your own project. And the third resource I would like to highlight is the Truveta electronic health record data. This is kind of a really emerging data resource, that are from a few health systems that will provide you with very detailed electronic health record data that go beyond the claims data we usually use. And this is not free, so you do need to budget for Truveta data access. But we have a contract set up at Hopkins, that will make make it easier for you to access data, and we have the cost structure and academic discount available. And happy to answer questions about Truveta access. And as part of our data access services, we also provide consultation if you are unsure what data would fit your aims, your timeline, and your budget. Feel free to reach out to our Head Center email. And I'll hand it back to Cynthia.
Thank you so much, Frank. So we have one question in the chat, which we will take while hopefully other people are putting in other questions. But yes, absolutely, you are eligible and encouraged to apply. I think for someone who already has a K award, you would just want to be articulating how the pilot will add something new to whatever your K project is, and how it will help you get an R award or something equivalent down in the future. So still, really being able to talk a bit about those future aims will be important. The other reason someone on a K award, I think there's many reasons, but another reason someone on a K award might be a very, very strong applicant is if they're new to ADRD research, perhaps, that they've been developing methods or expertise in another field, but have seen the relevance and the importance of the ADRD population. So the short answer is yes, but that's just a little more details while we're waiting for our next question. So I see we have another one. Have caregiving proposals been funded in the past? The answer to that is yes. I'll see if anyone wants to add more details, but I think the Head Center has actually been very focused on thinking about both the person with ADRD as well as the people who support and care for them. So that would absolutely be within scope of the research. Alden, I don't know if you'd like to add anything else.
No, absolutely. In fact, I think caregiving is one of the Head Center themes, so that would fit in pretty well. And there are lots of people who do caregiving research, like Jennifer Wolf and Catherine Ornstein within the Head Center leadership.
And I don't know if it's listed about in the enclave, but the National Study on Caregiving or NSOC is another key thing that you could think about. And yes, I just double checked. Caregiving is a cross-cutting theme of the Heads Center.
Yeah. Preeti asks, are there specifics about indirects? So I think the total we can always answer specific questions that you have offline, but the total budget for any awardee has got to be $35,000, and how much of that is direct and how much of that is indirect. I personally don't know how that gets negotiated, but I assume there's institutional stuff that drives that.
I think what's in the RFA is that basically it's whatever your institutional negotiated rates are. So obviously there's a lot that feels like it's in flux right now on the national conversation around indirects, but it basically would be whatever the institution that is submitting the grant on your behalf, what their federally negotiated rate is. If they do not have a federally negotiated rate, I do believe that there's one that is sort of used as the base. But that's something we could definitely help with if you follow up with us afterwards if your institution has questions. Got a message in the chat just to let everyone know that multiple PIs are acceptable and encouraged. Thinking strategically about that is obviously important, but if your project is really done with a close collaborator that you're contributing equally, you are eligible to submit as MPIs. Other questions? Well, thank you, everyone. You know where to find us. Oh, is there another question? Alden?
Oh, no, sorry.
Oh, thank you, everyone. Hopefully with all of the links in the email, you know where to find us. We look forward to seeing your applications. And thanks for being interested in our Head Center pilot program and Emerging Scholars program. Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you.